Alright guys, so another day, another Cyberpunk video, and so the CEO of CD Projekt Red, who's probably never played a video game before in his life, he said that the game is at a satisfactory level of quality and stability. And so, being the hater of the game that I am, I decided, let's go install the game, all 60 gigabytes of its glory, and see just how stable and high quality it is. So let's go ahead and load into Cyberpunk and just look at these slimy ass textures. And so this is on the Series X. If you don't know, I played half the game on the Xbox One X and half the game on the Series X. And so ignore my combat because I haven't played the game in 6 months, so I'm awful. But look how flat everything looks, especially the road on the other side of the crosswalk and some of the cars. They're very flat and just hazy and not rendered in. And I'll show that more later as a bigger problem, and there's still a lot of problems. Now, giving them credit, the game has significantly less bugs and significantly less hard crashes than it did 6 months ago. Now, the cops still appear out of thin air, but whatever, that's fine. Now, this footage is a combination of quality mode, which puts the game in 4K, a little bit above 30 FPS, depending on, what you're doing in the game, or in performance mode, which puts it in 1080 at 60 FPS. And even in that 1080 mode, in the 4K mode, it doesn't matter. I still had pop-in, like you'll see here. Everything, about 50 to 100 meters in front of me is just a flat texture. And then specifically looking at like the cars and the street, and it renders in as I get closer to them. Other problems I had that we're still in the base game. I mean, even you can see on the buildings to the sides of me, they're rendering in as I pass by them. And then just a couple of bugs here and there, like when you go into first person, and this car in particular, you just get blinded by the light of the sun. And things with trying to change the camera perspective from first to third person, the game just freezes and still doesn't like that on launch. It was significantly worse. It still takes, I would say, 3 to 5 button presses before it actually changes camera angles like you're asking it to. And my problem is, this is the next-gen version of the game. Or not technically the next-gen version. Technically, I'm just playing on a powered-up, upgraded version of the Xbox One version of the game, with just a higher frame rate and higher quality. And so even at that, if this is the higher quality version, what does this game look like on the Xbox One? Like, look at the cars 3-4 cars down. They're not rendered in for the most part, like the hoods and the sides of them. The road is insanely flat for the most part. It just looks slimy and disgusting. It's not textured very well. Everything in that crosswalk is just a mess. And so what does this look like on last gen consoles? Because when you say that your game is stable and in good quality performance and satisfactory level of just content, I guess that's what you want to call it, right? The biggest problem on launch were those last gen consoles. So when you say your game is ready, those last gen consoles should run it fine. And if my next gen console still looks like this, then last gen probably looks worse. I'm saying that the game can't look good, because that's definitely not the case, right? You can make it look good by going to specific areas, messing around with the time of day, photo mode, all that stuff. You can go to specific interiors that are high quality because you go there a lot of times, or cutscenes that are pre-planned and all of that stuff. But just the open worldness of it looks very last gen all around, right? Unless you have an insanely powerful PC, this game doesn't look that great. And am I saying that, it can't look great after, another 6 months of updates? No, it probably will. But who cares at that point? I don't think it matters. Besides content-wise and making videos on it and stuff, I don't think people are going to replay this game whenever they make updated versions of it. At least in my opinion, the story and the combat, and I've made a review on it, go watch it, but what's there isn't good enough to come back to, no matter how much better they make the graphics, in my opinion. But that's my little rant on Cyberpunk. If you have the last gen version of the game and it still looks god-awful and crashes every 5 minutes, let me know down in the comments below. If you're playing on a $5,000 PC and the game looks amazing, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you disagree with me that no one cares and nothing they can do can really save this game, make sure you comment that also. But that's all I have, just a small little Cyberpunk rant, because these are fun to do, and I'll see you guys on the next one.